It's a common misconception that drinking 8 glasses of water a day is enough for healthy hydration. But sweat consists of water and sodium, which means you need water plus electrolytes to stay properly hydrated. Thankfully, there are products like Element that have all your electrolyte needs covered. You can try Element Recharge Sample Pack by going to drinkelement.com/speak for only the cost of shipping.
Welcome to Speak for Yourself. Marcellus Wiley here with Emmanuel Acho. Where the Emmy at? Already? Come on, where the Emmy at?
It's not today, bro.
It's not today?
I'll worry about it in like a month or two.
When is the ceremony?
September 19th.
Is it going to be physical? You could go?
Yeah, bro. I'm be suited and booted.
I heard you get one ticket, and I'm looking at you. I heard you only get one ticket.
Huh?
You're not looking back.
He said what?
Okay. You ain't going to the Charger games with me. Like that matters. All right, let's get to our top story delivered by Pizza Hut. Order today at pizzahut.com. Yep, I'm going to tailgate to Pizza Hut. You can't go, Acho. All right, the Suns, you know they could take a commanding 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals tonight in Milwaukee. Chris Paul's averaging about 25 points and 9 assists in the finals so far. On the other side, Giannis has been on fire, scoring over 40 points in back-to-back Drake games. So, Acho, who do you trust more in Game 4 tonight? Chris Paul, CP3, or Giannis, your brother?
My dog. I trust Giannis Hugo Antetokounmpo more. I said his Greek name because I don't know how he's going to perform tonight.
What?
I trust Giannis more, though, in his simple self. Yeah. Giannis is doing this. He's ascending while Chris Paul is descending, if we can be honest. Yeah, Chris Paul started out Game 1, 32 points. We were like, my goodness, CP3 doing that thing. Game 2, 23 points. Okay, CP3 still got the dub. It's all good. Game 3, 19 points, huh? You made your fewest field goals in Game 3. As the game is wearing on and the series is wearing on, Chris Paul, statistically at least, is wearing down. Giannis, however, Game 1, 20 points. Remember, a week away from a hyperextended knee. Game 2, 42 points. Game 3, 41 points, albeit in less minutes. As the series is going on, Giannis is getting better. I think Giannis is to be more trusted because if we peel back all the layers and just don't even talk about basketball, talk about common sense. One is 26. One is 36. One is in his 16th year in the NBA, being Chris Paul, and has played the 3rd most games of his career this season. This deep in the run. Giannis has played 8 years in the NBA and has played the 3rd fewest games of his career this season. So if you're just simply talking about who's more acclimated for this distance race, who is more physically and mentally suited to be able to endure a lengthy series, it has to be Giannis. I think about, Chris Paul's never really even played a full conference finals. Remember the conference finals this year? He missed the first 2 games, COVID.
Come on, man. That's the universe. Come on, man.
I don't make the news. I just report it.
You're an anti-vaxxer. I can tell right there. Look at you go blame Chris Paul.
He missed the first 2 games. Remember 2018 when he was with the Rockets, conference finals against the Warriors. He didn't make it through that series with the hamstring injury. So Chris Paul has never actually had to endure a full playoff run, let alone a full playoff run to and through the finals. So I trust Giannis because, as one, Chris Paul is wearing down, Giannis is getting better, and Giannis is just younger. It's no indictment on Chris Paul. He's just 36 to Giannis is 26. Year 16 to year 8. Somebody is built for this moment physically and anatomically, and another person is just trying to survive this moment, which is Chris Paul.
Okay. Well, you know, I'm going to go on the other side of this because I respect experience more so than you. And also, let's just talk on this red-hot real estate market. I respect equity more than you.
That's true.
Hopefully I'll be your Redfin agent because, boy, you're going to get waxed if you don't respect equity more than you do. You brought to bring up the birth certificates. Let's do that. Because let's translate that beyond the common sense layer. Let's just make that a practical conversation. One is 36 and one is 26. And you want me to believe that the 26-year-old is the one I should trust more.
Yes, sir.
But I'm watching this show when I'm not here, sometimes on DVR, called Speak for Yourself. And one is 46. And one is 30. Yeah, I understand that youngster got those 2 MVPs and Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, I know that 30-year-old got Emmys and Emmy nods. But damn it, that 46-year-old is the best leader I've ever seen. I mean, he has endured co-host killer, as they call him. Like, everybody comes and goes, but he is the rock that holds this thing down. That's who I trust, the rock. Not this just shooting star by the name of Ugo. Let me get serious over here. Hey, you better stop playing. This Chris Paul. You giving me numbers from Giannis that are amazing in losses. In losses. That's the problem. You want to win an Emmy, but the show ain't want one, and you happy. Give us one. We want ours too. Not just you. Us. We. And that's why I love Chris Paul in this situation. Chris Paul, yeah. First game, just to set the tone. You know what it is. It's kickoff. Kickoff. Bring it in. With that strength coach who didn't go past JUCO, who is just too aggressive. Hey, bring it in. We gonna set the tone. Right, guys? We're like, no, we are. You ain't gonna do jack. You gonna sit there and talk. Chris Paul ain't gonna just talk. He gonna walk. That's why he set the tone in game 1, as you said. Game 2, another win. Hey, Devin Booker, where you at? Oh, Devin Booker, okay. Game 3, damn, Devin. I thought we was gonna share this experience. I kind of let off the gas a little bit to allow you to shine because that's best for us. I am respected. I'm 36 years old. Now, Chris Paul's like, we got to go back out there and let me lead the charge. Let me be the wedge buster. Let me set the tone. So this is the problem with Giannis. 2 losses and 1 win, even though 3 great games. Is Giannis in a place right now where he can activate the others consistently to get not only his numbers, but to get the W? That's what I don't trust. So, yeah, Giannis going to ball. I guarantee you Giannis going to go for 40 because that's what Giannis does. However, are they going to do what they need to do to support that? That's why I trust Chris Paul. He'll activate others.
Okay, I like that. I like where you're going. And I also understand why it is that you so closely gravitate to and can assimilate with Chris Paul. Because y'all both been on 5 teams in the last 5 years. So I fully get it, Marcellus Wiley. My dog been on shows with a whole bunch of different sidekicks. So I understand that you, like Chris Paul, are a nomad. At least the people around you are. Look, Sel,
Come on.
All seriousness.
Let's go.
You went to a good layer. Chris Paul, however, needs more people to activate around him because Chris Paul's game is predicated to a degree upon assists.
Yep.
But how can you assist when Devin Booker is 1 for 7 in one game for 3 and 1 for 8 in another game from 3? Chris Paul, more than Giannis's game, is predicated upon the necessity of other people. I need high pick and rolls. I got to get to the elbow so I can hit a fadeaway jumper because mano-a-mano, I can't just shoot over you. I can't overpower you. I can't run through you, and I can't Euro step around you. I have to navigate and tactfully maneuver around the helps of other big bodies to create my own shot. Chris Paul needs more help than Giannis needs to deliver. As a result, let me just trust a dude who can essentially deliver single-handedly. Middleton and Jrue Holiday ain't been balling.
No,
Not like they was balling against the Hawks. Let's make note. Against the Hawks, Middleton was 38 points, 35 points. Maybe Middleton is the Batman. So Giannis is being able to do it by himself. Dude has a combined 83 points and 25 boards in the last 2 games. Meanwhile, Chris Paul is just trying to find his way. The other thing I look at is, man, CP3 Sale, he's
Don't go to that place. You're going to go there.
He's playing tight because he's competing from a fear of failure. Why do I say this?
Let's go.
Chris Paul already was up 2-0, and LeBron was tweeting 1 down, 3 to go. Then he went up after 1. Then he went up after 2-0, 2 down, 2 to go. Chris Paul, everybody was already considering, okay, we're having conversations of, is he going to win finals MVP? Not even, is he going to win the finals? You and I on this show, along with a plethora of other shows, are starting to discuss, is he going to win the best player? We're assuming he going to win the finals.
Yeah.
But now that Giannis just stole one, Giannis is now getting the comparisons to statistical Michael Jordan in NBA Finals. Now Chris Paul's looking around like, dang, am I enough? That which I fear the most has befallen me. The same thing the CP3 fears is like, I usually get hurt, but now I'm not hurt. Now my game is just hurt. Am I going to start to struggle? I think that Giannis is just kind of competing with house money. 2 40-point games compared to Shaq, compared to Jordan. Everybody already counted him out. He's a Robin. He's not a closer. And now all of a sudden, he's doing what everybody doubted he ever could do. Chris Paul, nobody ever doubted him. They doubted if he could stay healthy, but they didn't doubt if he could ball. Now he's healthy. Can he ball?
I like that. I like that. You're taking me, a little sneaky jab right there. Okay. What was that? Was that Steph Curry and Canelo when they were on the golf green? Yeah. He hit that boy so fast. Steph Curry's like, jump shot. Eat that. How can you be playing with house money if you're Giannis and you're down in this series 2-1 and the other team has home court advantage? So the house, which is home court, is not in your favor right now. Put that card in the ATM and it says insufficient funds. Unless you grew up like I did, the 46-year-old. We used to be able to go to the bank and get $10 out. See, y'all can't do that now. 20 minimum, huh? You rich. See, I used to go to the bank, hit them with a 10 speak. Then I show up and I ain't gonna even talk about that. All I know is you could have a couple of dates on $10 back in my days. Now I'm looking at this situation simply as this. Giannis, I hate to do this because the way I like to approach broadcasting, that's why I've been doing it for 20 plus years. I mean, I'm amazing, is because I like to prop people up. I don't like to tear them down. And if I have to tear you down, it's going to be your performance, not you, the performer. But let's talk about these performances that I must tear down because Giannis is putting himself in bad company, brother. Giannis is shooting 28% from outside of the paint, worst by a player in the finals series since 2015. And fourth worst since 1980. Okay, but you trust that, huh? Fourth worst outside the paint since 1980. But, hey, my boy, trust him. Okay, what about three-point percentage? For some reason, he think he can shoot threes. I lost the game of pig yesterday to my little nephew, Luca, because I thought I could shoot threes. He was like, P-I-G, on my face, making layups. I thought I could make threes. He's shooting 22% from out there. Fourth worst in the finals since 1980. Okay. And then from the free throw line, everybody giving him props and giving him flowers, and he's shooting 66%. Well, I guess you got to give him props when he used to shoot 54% from the line coming into the finals. But once again, that's still fourth worst among players to average this many points in the finals since 1980. In three major categories, and you're talking about Euro stepping in the part of his game, three major categories since 1980, he's fourth worst. But I guess because he's Ugo, you trust him to be the guy that's going to lead them. How?
Here's how I trust him.
They don't even have home court.
The only reason I truly trust him is because Giannis has at least been closer before in physical endurance and in mental endurance. Meaning this.
Closer to what?
Closer to an NBA Finals before than Chris Paul. Why do I say that?
What? Giannis up 3-1 before Chris Paul.
Giannis went to and completed, albeit lost, in the conference finals 2 years ago. Remember, he went to and loses. Then Giannis this year plays the entirety of the conference. Well, he gets hurt, but he goes through the rigors, if you will. I just think, Sel, that
something else wrong with Rick.
This moment is starting to show itself as big for some of the Suns players.
Like who?
Devin Booker, for certain.
He had one bad game.
Two bad shooting performances. Two terrible shooting performances.
Okay.
Here's what I'm... Chris Paul is dependent upon Book.
Yes,
he's dependent upon Ayton. He's dependent upon Bridges. Giannis isn't dependent upon those dudes. Two biggest stat lines for Giannis is going to be points and boards. Two biggest stat lines for CP is going to be points and assists. Why does it matter? It's no coincidence that the most veteran player when it comes to NBA Finals appearances for the Suns is shooting the best. Jay Crowder. 9 for 12 from three the last two games. Jay Crowder's the only Suns player that plays legitimized minutes that's been to the finals before.
Okay.
Meanwhile, over a same two-game stretch, Jay Crowder over 2 games is 9 for 12 from three. You can pull 2 games from this series from Devin Booker.
Right now.
2 of 15 from three. It's no coincidence that the person who has been here before on the Suns is playing the best. Why does that matter? Because if CP3 has to lean on Book, which we know he has to lean on, if CP3 got to lean on Book and Book's not there to be leaned on, you know how they do, trust fall, and Booker don't catch him, all of a sudden that's problematic. That's why I trust Giannis, because Giannis just doesn't need any more help. But the last thing I'm going to say, my final nugget, Chris Paul, remember, NBA history, he has the most multi-game leads blown in NBA playoff history. Up 2-0, Chris Paul can blow a lead. Up 3-1, Chris Paul blows a lead. So the most multi-game leads blown in NBA playoff history is Chris Paul.
Wow. You talking about Chris Paul, CP3, the same guy we watching in this series. Let's just go back his last 4 games. I got to include that great game he had to close out my Clippers. Shooting 60% from the field, a guard. 63% from three, CP3. Okay, but you don't trust him. All right, let me give you this. Because you broke it down, and you broke it down in a way you said, look, I feel good. I'm going to win this argument. You actually helped me out, big dog. You said points and assists. And one of your favorite stats is points responsible for, correct? All right, Chris Paul doesn't have the most points responsible for in this series. That will be Giannis, 46. I like your face. Show his face again, guys. That's his face. Okay. CP3's right behind him, 45.3. So basically the same. But I give the nod to Giannis, right? But the Suns are 6-0 when CP3 accounts for 45 points or more this postseason. And in these finals, 2-1. Giannis, who has more points responsible for, what is his team's record in those same games? Hello, anybody? Do that face again. You just did the 1-2, losing record when doing what Giannis does. That's why I trust CP3 more, because somehow, some way, he knows how to activate, form the Voltron, or as my little son MJ always does, knows how to make those Lego pieces fit perfectly. Coming up, Kawhi Leonard has successful surgery, but his window on a title with the Clippers could be closing. But first, it appears Aaron Rodgers not want to be in Green Bay. Who does? We'll tell you if our opinions have changed about his future with the Packers. That's next on Speed. Getting recommendations from your friends for that perfect diet might be a big waste of time. The real answer is already within you, your genes. What are the best foods based on your DNA? What foods have the nutrients that you need? How quickly do you metabolize caffeine and alcohol? Don't guess. Use the code Speak for Yourself for $20 off a Geno Palette DNA kit. Find out how to eat for your gene.
Welcome back. Aaron Rodgers was asked about his future in Green Bay last week at a celebrity golf tournament and said, quote, "I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this week, and then I'm going to get back to working out and figuring things out in a couple weeks." Now, Adam Schefter's latest report was more clear-cut, saying, quote, "This isn't a money issue. It's much deeper than that. He doesn't want to be there," close quote, there being in Green Bay with the Packers. So, Marcellus, does this change your opinion about Aaron Rodgers' future in Green Bay?
No. I think Aaron Rodgers is still going to play. I think he's going to play week 1. He's just trying to figure out how to have a soft landing after getting into his emotions and feelings this entire offseason. Another case of someone who's trying to be disruptive without a destination. A few names come to mind. Russell Wilson tried this. Deshaun Watson tried this. And then they come to realize this is where home is, because they don't have the power to make somewhere else their home. Why my mind hasn't changed really on this actually affirms what I've been saying this entire offseason, because Adam Schefter reports that this is deeper than just money. How could that be in business, that something's deeper than money? Let's just really breathe on this. Deeper than money. When money in business is called the bottom line. The bottom line. I mean, there's no line under it. But people are going to say, no, it's deeper than that. Actually, it's more shallow than that. You are in your feelings, or they are in their feelings. So now you guys are going to walk outside and have this conversation about how you're off-center emotionally. But that's not deeper than the bottom line. The bottom line in business is you do for me, I do for you, and we just did this together. I don't understand. Let me stick to football players, because that's the only lane we're talking about.
Go where you need to go, though, Sal. I'm with you, my dog. Go where you need to go.
Man, look, they drafted us. And you know what the drafting is? We're going to pay you, but you coming here. Okay, I ain't got a problem with that. And we're going to show you love as much as you show us love. Because so when Aaron Rodgers was drafted there, Brett Favre was getting all the love. Yoo-hoo, I'm Aaron Rodgers. And then all of a sudden now Aaron Rodgers is the man. And Jordan Love is sitting there saying, yoo-hoo, I'm Jordan Love. But when do you ever lose sight of what this is? They are paying for your services, and they never are paying for your love. And then you can never buy your love. But I hear so many players just like, man, they ain't treat me right. They don't care about me. Who give a damn if the eggs are cold? Bruh, are you taking care of me for my services or not? I could buy my own damn hot eggs. But I see this happen time and time again. And what happens is you lose your way, and then they start looking at you differently. So I wish guys would hold up a mirror before a flashlight. What a mirror would tell you is respect yourself and respect your craft and respect that this is a transaction. What a flashlight will make you do is look for stuff that may be not there. And I think in this situation, this got way ahead of Aaron Rodgers. Now he's trying to figure out how to box this all back in and show up as a Green Bay Packer once again. Seen this story before. Sad to see it that I'm still realizing it's happening again.
I like that take. I like that take. I vehemently disagree with the take.
Okay.
But I really like the take.
Let's go.
Aaron Rodgers isn't going back to Green Bay. So, football is transactional. I agree with that. But I also believe football is highly relational as well. Just like most relationships, a marital relationship, whatever the case may be. Yeah. It is clearly relational. Yeah. But it is also transactional. Thus, I do think something can be deeper than money. However, if something is deeper than money occupationally, then now what's your motivating factor? The motivating factor for anyone in business, typically to remain in said business, is money. I'm sitting at this desk, you sitting at this desk, other people sit at desk at this network in large part because of money. Other people leave desks that they sit at networks to go other places because of money. So if something is now bigger than money, what do you have to tether somebody to an occupation? If Aaron Rodgers' issue and rift with the Green Bay Packers is greater than money, then what do the Packers have to tether him to Green Bay? I don't think they have anything. Because as I now navigate the entire landscape of why is Aaron Rodgers not in Green Bay, money's not going to bring him there. Well, winning isn't going to bring him there, because if I am Aaron Rodgers, I'm looking at the landscape. What quarterbacks in this generation are in the conversation with me talent-wise? Tom Brady. He's been to multiple Super Bowls since I went to one. Russell Wilson. He's been to multiple Super Bowls since I went to one. Peyton Manning. He's been to multiple Super Bowls since I went to one. If I am Aaron Rodgers, I'm looking at the landscape of quarterbacks, and I'm like, wait a second. I'm as talented as Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Peyton Manning. I'm as talented as those guys, and they all have been to multiple Super Bowls, and I have only been to one. Thus, I am not the limiting reactant. The Green Bay Packers organization is. So if money's not going to bring Aaron Rodgers back, and if winning a Super Bowl isn't going to bring Aaron Rodgers back, then what is going to bring Aaron Rodgers back? That's why I don't think he's going to be in Green Bay week 1. Well, let's bring in somebody else to get their thoughts on Aaron Rodgers' destination. Bucky Brooks. Bucky, does a report that Aaron Rodgers say it's deeper than money change your opinion about his future in Green Bay?
No, it doesn't change my opinion at all. Right now, we're just talking. Until we get down to it, until training camp starts, Aaron Rodgers is just posturing. Hearing all these third-party conversations, people talk for him, we don't know. If Aaron Rodgers really doesn't want to be in Green Bay, well, then man up and say it with your chest in. I don't want to be there. Right now, this is posturing. And we can talk about it not being about the money. We can talk about it not being about it being some communication issues with the general manager and the president and those things. But until Aaron Rodgers elects not to show up, we just believe that he is just trying to paint a picture and put the Packers in a corner to eventually get what he wants. But here's what we know from the offseason. They didn't fire the general manager. They didn't fire the president. They haven't traded the backup quarterback. That maybe this might be the issue for him in terms of not being in place and not getting what he wants. So what has changed? So ultimately, Aaron Rodgers has to make the decision. Am I going to tuck my tail in between my legs and show up at camp and walk in knowing that I got nothing out of this big soap opera? Or am I really going to sit and play and not play? I don't believe that he is going to walk away from the game. He still has too much talent, too much game left to walk away.
Man, say it again. I just don't understand. This is a business transaction. I knew a football team didn't love me, and I knew I didn't love a football team, but I love playing for them, and they love paying me for my services. Just that simple. What could be deeper in business than the bottom line? Oh, respect. Respect, homeboy. All right, people always talk about respect and don't respect themselves. I hate that, boy. Somebody come up to me, man, he disrespected me. I was like, bro, do you want me to tell you how many times you disrespect yourself? And Aaron Rodgers right now with all the power, look, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. You ain't even got to know Aaron Rodgers. You say that name, everybody knows who that is. In my existence, me just walking around this planet Earth as being a former football player, it happened to me this morning dropping off my kids. People know who I am from football, and I'm way down here. Well, let me tell you, when I had a problem in the organization, when I was up, I could go to them and get what I wanted, and vice versa. They could come to me. I don't understand where the lines of communication got broken. What do you always say, Acho, about not loving something that can't love you back? Is that correct? Well, last time I checked, the organization can't fully love you back. They can show you love, but damn it, do you have a life? Do you have a family? Do you have friends? That's where the love is. This whole transaction of a 10, 20-year career of playing a sport, and you trying to find some love and adoration in there, you lost, brother. Let me tell you about this. This is how simple it's supposed to be. You're not a football player. You play football. That means you go out there and go get yours, and you get what they give you, and then you take yourself home. It's simple as that. Now, where is home for Aaron Rodgers? The Green Bay Packers. You know why? Because the Packers are tied with the Chiefs in the last 2 seasons, since Matt LaFleur's been there, with the best regular season record. So the grass is not greener. The Packers led the league in points per game last season.
so the grass is not greener. The Packers were one of 4 teams last season to have a top 10 offense and top 10 defense, so the grass is not greener. And the Packers are only one of 2 teams in the league to have a top 5 wide receiver and a top 5 running back, so the grass is not greener. Get out your feelings, clear your eyes up, get the fog from in front of them, and realize what you got. You got something great in Green Bay.
You make good points. Bucky, you make great points, but here's the thing, because I'm always saying the grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it, unless you are a gardener, in which case the grass is greener wherever you are. And if you are Aaron Rodgers, at this point, you have to perceive that the grass is going to be greener wherever you arrive. Because the grass may not have been greener for Peyton Manning when he got to Denver, but he sure as heck made it green, went to 2 Super Bowls. Grass may not have been greener for Russell Wilson. They were 7-9 the year before he arrived, but he went to 2 Super Bowls within his first 3 years. The grass may not have always been greener roster-wise for Tom Brady at quarterback, but he's been to a plethora of Super Bowls since Aaron Rodgers went to his 1. The grass is greener wherever Aaron Rodgers goes. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, that's what I would perceive. But Bucky, Sale, y'all know on this show we go deeper. I just heard Mark Sanchez, the latest Fox employee, remind me of this notion. Aaron Rodgers is represented by the same agent who represented Carson Palmer, Dave Dunn. David Dunn, remember, represented Carson Palmer in 2011 and threatened to retire if not traded. Aaron Rodgers in a similar position, albeit the Green Bay Packers are a much better organization than the Bengals were at the time. But that same threat of, I don't want to be here, and if you do not trade me, I will retire. I'm not going to think that it is far-fetched for Aaron Rodgers, who has the same representation, and that representative made it work previously for Carson Palmer, a #1 overall pick. I don't think it's far-fetched to think that Aaron Rodgers might pull out that card as well and make it work for him.
Well, we're going to see then. If I'm the Green Bay Packers, we're going to see if he's really about that. Because the difference in this situation, the Carson Palmer situation, Aaron Rodgers is 37. Ooh. And there are not many players that get better as they get older. And so when you're a 37-year-old player, the thought of sitting out 1 week, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, an entire year, man, you're just not guaranteed to get that back. So if I'm the Green Bay Packers and if Aaron Rodgers is that at this point of contention that, oh, you know what? I just won't come. I'll just wait and I'll force your hand. All right, Aaron, but let's just see what it is. Because from the Green Bay Packers point, there are only 2 things that are going to happen. Either he's going to play for the Packers or he's going to retire. But Aaron Rodgers is not going to play anywhere else. Let's see how strong Aaron Rodgers is in his stance before we say, oh, we're going to let him go and do whatever he wants. I don't believe that Aaron Rodgers, who's coming off an MVP year, wants to walk away from the game. So if I'm the Green Bay Packers, look, I'm going to call his bluff, and I'm going to see if Aaron Rodgers can sit out 8 weeks or a full season to prove his point when it comes to his displeasure with the organization and how they have treated him over all these years.
Yeah, exactly, man. Look, if he got that card, play it. I just whooped up on my daughter on our little staycation this weekend at Uno 5-0. She thought I was going to play scared like them little college kids. I don't give a damn you got to draw 4 or not. Skip, reverse, Uno, gone. Out of here. Sit there with that draw 4. You better play it. That's how I do it. So, look, this is not Carson Palmer. And good job. Congratulations, Mark Sanchez. I love that dude. I'm glad he's up in here. I'm going to have to catch up with him before a second. All right, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So here's the thing. Carson Palmer ain't Aaron Rodgers. Like you said, he just won an MVP, but more importantly, all Carson Palmer had was a 1-3 record in the postseason and an injured knee, and what could have been if he didn't injure that knee. He didn't have anything to sit back on in terms of what he wanted to fall back on and legacy. Whereas Aaron Rodgers, MVPs, a Super Bowl ring, conference championship games the last 2 years. Like, the room for him to improve is this much. Where are you going? But I know where he's going. He's going where he's been. I'm going to tell y'all this in short story. Culture is what's rewarded. And in Green Bay, you know what was rewarded when Aaron Rodgers was drafted there? A legend acting up at the end of his career in Brett Favre. And as we know, anybody out there, you can swear up and down you ain't gonna be like your parents until you wake up one day and realize you are. You don't wanna be like Big Brother until you realize you're fighting Big Brother because you're really fighting yourself. Come on, Aaron, you better than this. Go back out there and play for Green Bay and go get that money. Coming up, Giannis has been red hot, but his Bucks are still trailing in the finals. We'll tell you if tonight's Game 4 is a must-win. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
In just 2 nights, the long-anticipated wait is over. The fans return to SmackDown on Fox. Superstars of WWE will finally get a chance to hear the roar of the crowds for the first time in a year and a half. Live from the Toyota Center in Houston this Friday night, SmackDown, 8 Eastern on Fox. Got another gig coming out, so I nailed that. Let's get back to the NBA Finals, where the Bucks are coming off a blowout win in Game 3 behind Giannis's dominating 41-point, 13-rebound performance. But his Bucks are still down 2-1 homes, and teams have won 35 out of 36 finals when they're leading 3-1 in the series. Joined now by Fox NBA analyst Slick Rick the Bucher, but Acho, is tonight a must-win game for your Bucks?
Of course it is, yo. If the Bucks go down 3-1, I would dare say that it is a wrap because you give yourself no room for error. You go down 3-1, what happens in Game 5 if Giannis catches an elbow to the nose and he has to miss a quarter or two? What happens if Chris Middleton sprains his ankle? Not missing several games, but just has to miss the rest of that game. What happens if Drew Holiday sprains a wrist landing on the ground and now he misses 2 quarters? You got to give yourself room for error. That's my first reason why. My second reason why, if you go down 3-1, you got to go back to Phoenix. The Bucks have lost 7 games in the playoffs thus far. 6 of these 7 games that they have lost were on the road. They lose more games on the road than they win on the road. So you go down 3-1, then you got to go back to Phoenix, and you have a better chance of losing on the road. And if you do ever lose, it's typically on the road. That's reason number 3. Reason number 2. Reason number 3 is very simple. Now you got to look conversely. At home, you always handle business. Y'all 8-1 at home thus far throughout these playoffs. 8 games, 1, and you only lost one of them things. You always take care of business at home. If you can't take care of the house, you can't take care of nowhere else. For that reason, Bucks have to find a way to even up this series at 2-2. Go back to Phoenix. That's fine. Let them control their home court. You go back to Milwaukee. You control your home court. Then let's dance in Game 7, see what happens.
Yes, it is a must-win for the Bucks for all the reasons, Acho, that you explained. It's also a must-win for the Phoenix Suns. The winner of Game 4 is going to decide this series. You laid out exactly why it's a must-win for the Milwaukee Bucks. Let me lay out why it's a must-win for the Phoenix Suns. Because it has been part of their formula so far in the playoffs. In that, well, let me have a full screen. The full screen will explain it far more quickly than I possibly could. This has been their formula. They lose Game 3 big. They go on the road. They do not play in that first road game well. They get worked. What do they do in Game 4? They come back and they win, and then they win the series. They have done that. They did that against the Lakers. They did it against the Clippers. And now they're in position to do the same thing against the Bucks. If they don't get it done against the Bucks the way they did against the Lakers and the Clippers, it will mean one of 2 things. Either they did not figure out how to slow down Giannis Antetokounmpo, who has been a monster in all 3 games so far, or they figured out how to slow him down, and it did not matter because the Bucks still won. In either case, it means that the Suns are facing an issue that they have not faced previously in these playoffs. Getting beat 2 times in a row on the road and having a player that they have yet to figure out or figured out and still couldn't get the job done.
Interesting. Yeah, they have to win tonight. We're all saying the same thing, but we're saying it in different ways. They haven't won a road game in this series yet, and who's to say that they will? So right now, if you lose tonight, it goes from playing with house money if you're the Phoenix Suns, because you already still hold home court advantage. It goes from house money. They lose tonight, it's mansion money now because you got one in the pocket on top of the house money. You can play around with this team. And that's the problem if you're a Bucks player or fan. I like you, Slick Rick. I didn't like necessarily what you tried to do to the Phoenix Suns in terms of that full screen. Let's see it again because some of my old psychology minor pops up. And I look at the first series against the Lakers. I say, one time is a chance. Then I see the second one. The second time is a coincidence. And then I see the third one, and I see a question mark. And then I say, I don't know if this is really a pattern because we don't know what's going to happen tonight. Now, if the Phoenix Suns does create that as a pattern, that's actually a positive for the Phoenix Suns. You want to know why? Here's my psychology major. Because they've won every series when they've lost that game 3, but then win the game 4. So it's interesting.
Correct.
So now you look at the Phoenix Suns, and then all of a sudden they got to do something they haven't done, which is dig deeper. Now you're still playing with house money. Don't forget that. See, in your case, you're trying to say, oh, well, it's 2-2 now. What are you going to do when you go back to Phoenix? Hold pat, hold home court. And that's something they can do that we have not seen from the Bucks steal home court away, except when the Brooklyn Nets got hurt. And I'm not going to go there. Let's talk about these Bucks averaging 106 points a game in Phoenix. 106, 120 in Milwaukee. You think they're going to go back to Phoenix and all of a sudden that's going to change? Or it's going to go back to a new pattern that I'm trying to advertise? Bucks outscore by 23 points in games 1 and 2, and then they blow them out at home. So what if they blow them out? I could go both ways, which is slick, but the point is, even if they lose the Phoenix Suns tonight, they still got house money. They win tonight, it's mansion money, and you know it's a wrap.
Here's the distinction, though, is that the change in the Milwaukee Bucks has not been on the offensive end. I'm not worried about them scoring points, not scoring points. They scored enough points in Phoenix in the first 2 games to get the job done. What I've seen are adjustments defensively that have changed things. You need to tell me that Devin Booker is going to get back to being the Devin Booker that we've seen earlier in these playoffs, and some of which we saw earlier in this series. You have to tell me that Chris Paul with Drew Holiday on him is not going to be averaging 5 turnovers a game, which is what we've seen in the last 2 games. Defensively is where the Milwaukee Bucks have made the adjustment. And what we know about defense is that it travels. It works better on the road, or it's more likely to work on the road than asking your offense to be as effective. So that's why I believe that if indeed the Bucks win Game 4, it will be because the formula that they found in Game 3 is working. And that formula, whether it's Giannis going big and Drew and Chris joining the party, and defensively them making things hard on Chris Paul and making them even harder on Devin Booker, there's no reason that that can't happen in Phoenix. They demonstrated that against the Brooklyn Nets on the road in Game 7. You could even look at Game 5, that was a competitive game. So I'm not worried about how they're going to play on the road at this point.
Man, here's what none of us are talking about, right? We can level all this down very simply. The teams that go up 3-1 in the finals are 35 and 36. Like, if you go up 3-1, you win the series, point blank, period. Like, so we can do all the 12, 15 minutes of all the nice talking and all the statistics and analytics and philosophical stories. But if you go up 3-1, it's a wrap. Giannis already said he's not Michael Jordan. So unless he thinks that he is LeBron James, the only one to come back from down 3-1, it's a wrap. Finito. However, Bucks fans, it's very simple. Middleton shoots better than 42%, you're 12-1. Drew Holiday scores more than 20 points, you're 6-1. All you need is Middleton or Holiday to help Giannis out. Giannis last game essentially did it by himself, but just let Middleton shoot 42%, drop 25 or 30. Let Drew Holiday drop 20 or more, and it's all good. I do think the Bucks will likely get this game, but they have to get this game if they want to try to win the series.
I think the Bucks can get this game. So what? They're still going to lose. And if they don't, we know they're going to lose. And that's the thing. Like, if you look at this Bucks team, they score more points at home than on the road. Okay, you can understand that. But Slick wants to push back. It's on the defensive side. Well, they give up more points on the road than they do at home. So the defense doesn't travel as well as Slick is advertising. They shoot better from the field goal, from the free throw line, and they dish out more assists at home. They better get tonight just to keep this conversation going. But it's still house money for the Phoenix Suns because they get to go back home where the Bucks don't travel. So, as they say in any series, you haven't done anything until you win a road game. Looks like the Bucks in this series, even if they win tonight, won't do anything. Coming up, Kawhi has successful surgery. Yes! 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 But has my Clippers title window closed with our superstar? No! 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 But Acho will answer that next on Speak for Yourself. You
look good yesterday. Damn, Acho, wear that again. Your watch and speak for yourself. Marcelo Swally, Emmanuel Acho doesn't look as good today, but he's here. Let's get to my Clippers, who look amazing right now because Kawhi Leonard had successful surgery Tuesday to repair a partial tear of his ACL. The injury kept him out of the Western Conference Finals that we would have won if he were healthy. Duh. There's no timetable for Kawhi's return, but this offseason, he's expected to decline his player option, which will make him a free agent. Slick is back, but Acho, at the Clippers title window with Kawhi closed.
Finito is done, but it was closed before Kawhi had his ACL surgery. Here's why, y'all. NBA history, at least since the 2000s. Slick, Rick, you know this, Sal. I tried to tell him this. It's this. When you got two superstars on a team, you know within 2 years if it's going to work or not. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, we knew in 2 years. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, we knew in 2 years. Shaq and Dwayne Wade, we knew in 2 years. James Harden and Russell Westbrook didn't even take us 2 years. Paul George and Russell Westbrook didn't even take us 2 years. You know within 2 years if something is going to work or not. PG and Kawhi, within the first 2 years, we already saw, you know what? This don't look like it has a high likelihood of working. Even CP3 and Devin Booker in 2 years, boom, they making magic happen. When you combine a superstar and an all-star, or two all-stars, or two fringe superstars, you know within a year or two what you got. LeBron and AD, the list is countless. Combine the cats within 2 years, you know. This is a microwave society. It is not a slow cooker society. It's not an oven society. It's none of that. We know instantly what is going to happen when you combine two superstars, or at least a superstar and an all-star. So whether Kawhi comes back to the Clippers, whether he doesn't, his health is going to be irrelevant. We already knew the window was closed. But I'll play the game with y'all for the rest of the conversation anyway.
Otto, you can speak in this calm, tempered, composed tone and pretend that you're just being illogical. I'm just being the accountant here. I'm just reading the receipts. It's not going to hide the fact that that is a Lakers fan talking right there. Because here's the reality. First of all, we have no proof that this doesn't work. I'm not taking the bubble with Montrezl Harrell and Lemon Pepper Lou and the issues that they had and using that as a referendum of whether that combination worked or not. And I'm certainly not using this year because they were good until one of the two stars happened to get hurt and was taken out of the equation. What I see is that the window isn't closed. It just opened up because this roster, to me, is in its prime. All the key pieces are either signed or easily signable to keep it composed. And they weren't just missing Kawhi Leonard. They were missing Serge Ibaka and Ivica Zubac. And I dare say if they had had one of the three, we'd be talking about the Clippers versus the Bucks, not the Suns versus the Bucks at this stage. So this idea that we've seen the Paul George, Kawhi Leonard combo, and it simply has not delivered, I push completely back on that, Nacho Lakers fan, because we haven't seen it. We have not seen it in full with this particular roster.
Slick, let me push back on your pushing of my theory. At this point in time, 10 years into somebody's career, you kind of know who they are. We know that Kawhi Leonard does not have vocal and verbal leadership skills. We know that. At this point in time, having two lower extremity injuries in the last 4.5 years, if you will, we all, if we desire, could put a injury-prone stamp on Kawhi. Because Kawhi Leonard load manages to prevent himself from injury. So we're already cognizant of the fact that he's kind of an injury risk. So while we coddle his career during the regular season, he still suffered an injury. No knock on guys that are injury prone. It's just a fact. So there's that. There's also the fact that, Slick Rick, you understand anatomically, you tear an ACL, it could lead to collateral damage. Klay Thompson tears his ACL. He's about to start the season. tears his Achilles. So there's no assumption that even when he comes back, best case scenario, probably after the All-Star break in about 7 months, even when he does come back, that he won't get hurt again. I don't speak this over Kawhi Leonard's life. I'm just talking about the science behind the body and anatomy, etc. So the window is closed because they likely weren't going to win with that combination. We have a 2-season sample size, at least a 2.5-season sample size. And even if he does come back, there's no guarantee that he comes back and stays healthy because we know Kawhi Leonard does not have vocal leadership skills. And at this point, we know he also has injury prone.
Oh, that Laker fan, take that suit off. We know you got on some purple and gold underoos under there. Come on, man. Kawhi gonna opt out, get more money, come back. And he got a new knee. A new knee? You all talking about collateral damage. Shoot, give me a new knee. Boy, I'm going to be out there on that dance floor fast. And that's what Kawhi's going to do. And he's going to come to realize, I got a squad. Be real about this, Acho. You never leave a situation until you fully flex, until you fully exhaust what's there. Playoff P is for real. He had to carry the water this year without Kawhi. Be real. He dropped it a couple times, spilled a little, but for the most part, he carried the water. And Terrence Mann was discovered. Terrence Mann lived up to his last name. He's a man, someone we could bank on. On top of the fact that, hey, Zubac, stay healthy. Serge Ibaka, come back. We got a squad. We have 8 players right now under contract. At least next season, including the following key players. Marcus Morris, I talked about Mann, Zubac, Pat Bev, signed for one more season, no matter how he feels about his playing time, etc. So I look at all that in totality, I say, okay, we're set. What's out there that's going to stop us? Nothing. We swept the Lakers this year, 3-0. Sorry, Acho. 3-0 in that regular season matchup. 21-17 against teams above 500, so that's a damn good record. 17-10 against teams in the top 10 in the West. We smoke y'all. Lakers will have a challenge trying to improve that cap-strapped roster, Acho. LeBron is injury-prone. Since you want to talk about injury-prone, 2 of the last 3 years, has LeBron been injured? AD stay injured, so we already know his check engine light stays on. He got a problem. Jazz haven't made it past the second round since 2007. Nuggets were swept by the Suns this postseason, and Dallas needs more help because they can't even get out the first round to beat my Clippers. You want to talk again? And I got one more point about you, Acho. Stay on screen. After 2 years, you could tell if a star is going to work with another star or not, right? Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, oh, my God. They got together in 1988. Did they win it all? 1989, did they win it all?
We're having it.
Okay, 1990, did they win it all? Damn it, Acho, your theory just went.
That was a good one.
It wasn't a good one. It wasn't a good one. Because you're talking about, I said, what did I say, Slick? What did I say? I said 2 stars. In 1988, was Scottie Pippen a bona fide star yet? No. In 1989, was Scottie Pippen a star yet?
I mean,
no.
yeah, I was around. You weren't even alive. How you know?
I said 2 stars. So while that sounded great based off hindsight bias, there are no burns left on my skin, Slick. There are no oohs and ahs because that simply went right off my suit like some condensation. And so with all that being said, so nice try. I'll give you some thumbs, some snaps.
Some love, Jones.
But, in 2 years, you know what time it is.
What about Kobe and Shaq?
Acho.
We knew what time it was.
Acho, we know your argument was flawed because you went from the combo doesn't work to, wait a minute, Kawhi's injured. Kawhi's damaged goods.
I paid to do a job.
You jumped from one to the other pretty damn quickly, did you not? But here's the thing. I agree with you. Kawhi Leonard may not be 100%. And the Clippers are actually better when he's not. The one thing they missed with Kawhi Leonard was that mid-range post-game in need situations. That's not going to be affected by that ACL. Paul George, in Kawhi Leonard's absence, decided I can be the defensive stopper we need to be. I'm all good with that. Demonstrated it. It opened it up for everybody else. With Kawhi Leonard on the floor, they were plus 29. In minutes played in the playoffs this year. They were plus 48 with him off the floor.
Yep.
They've demonstrated that they can operate with Kawhi, and that's the message that they needed to send. Because when Kawhi was trying to do everything and playing iso ball all the time, they weren't nearly as good. Now they realize, and Kawhi realizes, I got guys who can play. I don't need to dominate the ball. I just need to play my part.
Thank you, Slick Rick. Hand that baton off. We running the two-man relay over here and smoking Acho team right now. Let me bring this up. Since he want to talk about bona fide stars from Hello, Kobe and Shaq in L.A., 1997. Did they win it all? Yeah. 98.
Oh,
did they win it all?
Two.
Yeah. And I was in L.A.,
examples.
already in the league, seeing Kobe and Shaq in them streets, and I was like, y'all some stars. Where y'all chips at? 99, did they win it all? Oh, no. But then in 2000, bang, bang. So there go that theory again. I'll tell you, want to hear that sound again? Womp, womp, womp.
Here's the thing.
Look at him. Now he in this poetic justice voice.
Now we're getting real quiet. Now we're getting...
When did Kobe go to his first All-Star game? It wasn't in 97. It was not in 97.
You ain't got to be an All-Star game to be a star.
Do your research. You ain't got to be... You at home, do your research, and you will be able to fact-check that two bona fide stars you know within 2 years. Kobe was bona fide by the 98-99.
Your Honor, if I may, Your Honor, I'd like to interject right now because my boy Acho up here talking about the title window closed. You asking, can my Clippers still win? I'm like, you asking the wrong question. You asking Kawhi. It's really Kawhi not, because my Chip City 2022 about to do the damn
commercial,
thing.
please.
Yes, we're going to commercial. Thank you. Coming up, who's under more pressure in tonight's pivotal game 4? Acho with his fake takes, or Chris Paul, or Giannis? We'll answer that next on Speak for Yourself. Bona fide stars.
Chris Paul is just 2 wins away from his first NBA title, but the Suns will have to slow down Giannis. The Bucks superstar has been on fire, scoring over 40 points in back-to-back games. CP3 said, quote, "We're going to try to keep building a wall. He's coming full speed every play like a running back coming downhill." Close quote. Slick Rick the Bucher is back with us. But Sel,
What?
who's under more pressure tonight? Is it Chris Paul or Giannis?
You know it's Giannis. And I'm going to tell you it's simple because I want to hear what Slick has to say because we kind of touched this a little bit. I trust Chris Paul more in this moment. And Giannis, in terms of your reputation, in terms of the pressure that's on you, it's because you're still in that show and prove part of your career because you're in your prime. With Chris Paul, we're almost in the bonus setting of his career, the twilight years, obviously, but more so, we were mentally cemented that thinking that Chris Paul's never going to get his opportunity. And then when he gets his opportunity, we're not going to put it all on Chris Paul because we already have defined, in large part, what his legacy looks like. So CP3 in bonus territory, where you, Giannis, 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, show and prove. It's time for you to go in the kitchen and bake that cake. Chris Paul, he's in the part of his career where he's just the icing on the cake in terms of these performances. Yes, in terms of legacy building, it will have a tremendous impact to redefine what Chris Paul is seen as. But in terms of the historical rankings and who Chris Paul is as a top 5 point guard, as one of the greatest leaders to ever play basketball, none of that will change for the negative. But when you look at Giannis, oh boy, it's a whole different conversation when you talk about, is he great enough as a player to make sure he's the driving force for a championship team? All of that's still on the line, so it's more pressure on Giannis tonight.
So for all those reasons, I would say that the pressure is on Chris Paul. Now, we have to define where that pressure is coming from. Is it internal pressure or is it external pressure? And are we talking about pressure or are we talking about expectations? But because of where Chris Paul is in his career, because this is his last best shot to change his legacy and how we are going to view him in total, that pressure that Chris Paul has to be feeling is, I need to get this done now or I never will. That pressure does not exist for Giannis Antetokounmpo at this stage. You just said it. He's still in the improvement stage, and he has taken major steps already in this series. And I dare say at this point, even the narrative, if they were to lose or to Giannis's game would fall off, at least part of the narrative is going to be, you know what? The Bucks really didn't take advantage of those first 2 games when Giannis was lights out and Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton didn't join the party, where their defense simply wasn't good enough to get it done in Phoenix. And so we talked about, you talked, Marcellus, about the Suns are playing with house money. Giannis Antetokounmpo at this stage in this series is playing with house money. We've already compared him to Shaquille O'Neal. We've already talked about him doing things that we've never seen him do before. Chris Paul is in a different place. It's almost the same place he was going into Game 7 against the Clippers. Man, he can't afford to lose this series now, because his best last chance to get to the finals will have gone by the boards. Now we're looking at it in the same frame. This is Chris Paul's last best chance to actually win a title and add a ring to all of his accomplishments.
Bingo, Slick. I'm with you. It's Chris Paul. For all of the reasons that you said, I will add some to them. Chris Paul has been traveling far and wide, searching all over to find a ring. 5 franchises. This is his 5th team in 5 cities. This is his 4th franchise in 5 years. So Chris Paul has been scurrying all around the National Basketball Association in hopes of a ring. Meanwhile, Giannis has just been sitting there, chopping wood, chopping wood, chopping wood, and now he's at the same place as Chris Paul, who's been running all over like a chicken with his head cut off just in search of one.
Wow.
Now, to get that back to narrative form, Giannis is playing with house money, and I perceive it as such. People thought that Giannis was not a closer. He has proven that he is a closer. Thus, he has contradicted the opinions of the masses. People wonder, Chris Paul, can you stay healthy? Well, Chris Paul, as I said, is statistically deteriorating with every game that passes. 32 points, 23 points, 19 points as the game has gone on, as Giannis has gotten better. Giannis is really just playing from freedom. Like, oh, y'all didn't think I was a closer. Y'all thought I was Robin on my own team. I'll just give you 42 points and 41 points in back-to-back games. I'll give you 13 boards and 12 boards in back-to-back games. Oh, I had 17 boards the first game, playing on 1.5 legs because I hyperextended my knee just a week prior. Giannis, again, is playing from the notion of, I've already proven to y'all that I can do what y'all never thought I could. Chris Paul is still trying to prove that he can do what we expected him to.
Man, I don't know about that. Slick, let me... This sounds like a hybrid. Like we just formed Voltron and created Allen Iverson's career right here. Because it's amazing. When you look at Allen Iverson, you always looked at the other guys around him as the reason why he never won a championship, correct? But then you also saw him go out there in the finals and you saw him play and you're like, he is killing it. Giannis is killing it. But then you look at the others and say, well, they're the reason why they're not going to win a championship. But in terms of legacy, in terms of who Allen Iverson is, Chris Paul is going to be looked at as high, if not higher. But Giannis won't. So guess what? There's pressure on Giannis to get what he's deserving. Does Chris Paul have 2 MVPs? Does Allen Iverson have 2 MVPs? So it's kind of weird how we're going to do this math right here. Like this mental math is like Iverson's going to be in a rare place, a greater place than Giannis, who deserves to be up there. But why isn't he getting his fair due? Whatever that answer is why there's more pressure on him to figure out, how do I get my fair due? And we know the simple fix: win this championship. Chris Paul's not going to drop. He doesn't need a parachute. He's going to stay up there with Iverson. Meanwhile, Giannis is just going to be in no man's land. And how dare you, Acho, call my man Chris Paul a chicken head, talking about he running around with his head cut off. But the point is, boy, out there doing that old Nelly over here. But the point is, I just don't see Giannis getting his fair due, his proper receipts, unless he wins that championship, putting more pressure on him tonight.
But this is the distinction, Marcellus. It's that he has to win a championship, not necessarily that he has to win this championship. The age that he's at, he still has plenty of years to live up to that 2-time MVP. And by the way, not to relitigate a previous segment, but if Chris Paul's statistics are deteriorating as the series goes on, then that's only more proof that this is a must-win for the Suns in Game 4. But I digress. Here's one other element that goes into why Chris Paul needs to get this done now. And it's the fact that he is facing free agency. He's facing his last opportunity to get the big payday. This, I dare say, is going to be his last contract, certainly his last big contract. And the difference between signing a deal when you've already put a ring on it, as opposed to you're the guy who deteriorated, had a 2-0 lead in the finals, and ultimately gave it away to Giannis Antetokounmpo, puts you in a different tax bracket and a different view as far as the rest of the league in terms of what you're capable of. If he wins a ring, the Suns are almost forced to give him whatever the hell they want. And if they don't, then someone else is going to look at it and say, Chris Paul knows the formula, even at this late stage, to be able to lead a team to a championship. Suddenly, he looks very attractive to Philadelphia, desperately needing that point guard that can get them there. But the bottom line is, if he gets a ring, it changes how his next contract is going to be viewed.
Yeah, and Slick, let me just elaborate on a point you made. Giannis, no real pressure because at 26, Michael Jordan was still getting knocked out by the bad boys Pistons. At 26, LeBron James was choking in his greatest choke job of his career against the Dallas Mavericks in his first year with the Heat. And LeBron and Jordan obviously have gone on to be two of the best players of all time. But at 36, Michael Jordan was in his second retirement, at least his first retirement, depending on how you look at it. And at 36, LeBron is battling to stay healthy. So Chris Paul at 36, he's already exceeded the odds. But at 37, I think I counted against him. Whereas Giannis at 26, he's right on par with the greatest of all time. Even if he loses, he's still on par with the greatest of all time.
Yeah, here's the problem, though. It was all good just a week ago. Here's the problem. If Giannis loses this series, we're going to look at the top layer and say, damn, Giannis did all he could. And then somebody at the barbershop going to say, did he? Because they're going to say 1980 all the way to current day. Is this the same Giannis that had the fourth worst three-point percentage, fourth worst outside the paint shooting percentage, and the worst free throw percentage since 1980 of those players who have 20-plus points per game? And when you get into those weeds, that's when you don't get your fair due if you're Giannis. Meanwhile, Chris Paul averaging 29 and 9 in his last 4 games and not even expected to be the dude on his team. That guy's name is Devin Booker. Interesting conversation. We're going to be at the barbershop past closing on that one. We'll see how it plays out. And speaking of the Suns and the Bucks, Game 4 of the finals is featured on the free-to-play Fox Bet Super 6 app. Scan the QR code below and download the app and answer 6 questions about tonight's game for your shot to win $1,000. Coming up, Dak is rated higher than Lamar Jackson in the quarterback survey. But we'll tell you which quarterback we'd rather build around next on Speak for Yourself. Dak Prescott is the 7th best quarterback in the NFL, according to a recent survey of executives, coaches, and players. Dak's rating put him ahead of Lamar Jackson, who is number 8. One AFC executive said, quote, Lamar's a better all-around football player. Dak is the better quarterback. Acho, which quarterback would you rather build around, Dak or Lamar Jackson? And if you, let's get ready for war. Say it. Say it.
You put me between a rock and a hard place because you have created the narrative that I'm a hater, antagonist of Dak and Lamar.
You helped in that narrative.
I did a little bit. A little bit. I'd rather build around Dak. But it's no indictment on Lamar. Hear me out. I've been looking forward to this topic all day. If you just clicked in, do not click off. I'd rather build around Dak, and it's not Lamar's fault. Here's the issue. Lamar's unique ability to run a 4-3, to run a 4-4 at the quarterback position, I would be so captivated by that that it would be impossible for me to convince myself and, more importantly, management to ignore that.
Okay.
So with that being said, I'd be looking at Lamar and I'd be so enthralled by Lamar's ability to run that I would actually do a disservice to Lamar and a disservice to the team because I wouldn't worry about his passing ability. Marcellus, I was thinking about this morning. You harp on this often.
I do.
The curse of the gifted.
Yes. There we go.
The curse of the gifted. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he shoots 60% from the free throw line. Why? Because he can get away with it. Because he can still drop 40 points in back-to-back finals games and 13 and 12 rebounds in back-to-back finals games because he's so gifted. If Giannis was 6'4", you better believe his free throw percentage would be much better. You better believe he'd have an outside shot because he'd have to work on other skills.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson, because he is so gifted, You don't look at him and say, man, we got to build talented receivers around him. Man, we have to develop a talented passing offensive attack. Because at the end of the day, you can still go 13-3, Ravens. You can still get to the playoffs, win a playoff game doing what you do. However, I would take Dak Prescott because Dak Prescott's more limited, which would make me have to put more around him, which would make me have to build a better team, which would make me have to put more functionality around Dak Prescott. So it's a backwards way of thinking, but I'll end it in reality form because everybody can rock with this to some degree. When you get with the super attractive woman or when you get with the super attractive man, you don't care about their personalities as much. You don't care about what kind of family they came from. You're not as focused on their intellectual capacity because you're so enthralled by their physical appearance and their physical attributes. So you get a year into that relationship, dating or marriage, and you realize, man, I probably should have focused more on some of the other important details. I would be so captivated by Lamar Jackson's physical attributes running a 4.3 40 that I wouldn't worry about developing some of the other important details. And not only has that happened to me, it's happened to Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator. It's happened to Harbaugh, the head coach. So that's why I would pick Dak.
Man, you had me until you didn't have me, and you didn't have me long. It's Lamar Jackson. And you know I love me some Dak Prescott, but golly, Lamar Jackson. Backwards way of thinking, you're right. You do have a backwards way of thinking. Your backwards way of thinking was, I'm going to build a team with the lesser players so I can have more to build and resources for the other good players. I ain't building my team that way, homeboy. I'll build my team with the better quarterback. And you know who else had a backwards way of thinking? This executive, this anonymous executive who says, well, Lamar's the better all-around football player, but Dak's the better quarterback. You know he lying. I don't know why he lying, and he's anonymous. You know why? Lamar only plays quarterback. How the hell you know how good he is at any other thing but playing quarterback? And he plays quarterback better than Dak. And Dak, damn it, when I see you, you better give me a hug. But I love me some Lamar Jackson. Let's just compare them statistically and just see a little head-to-head, shall we? And let's go since 2019, because I could go all the way back and it really gets ugly. So I'm trying to give Dak a little help. 24-6, 800 win percentage for Lamar. Oh, Dak, you under 500. Come on. Now, Dak should outscore him, right? Because he got Greg Roman. Lamar Jackson, you know, he be limited. He had that bad public school with that bad principal, Greg Roman. And, look, he ain't got some good classmates. Hollywood ain't that good. And he still outperforms him in points per game, 32-28. How about touchdown to interception, 62-15 versus 39-15? Wait a minute. I give you 62 touchdowns and only 15 picks. And then this dude only get 39 and 15 picks. Passer rating. Let's just add it all up. Marcel, you're talking too much. You got spit coming out your mouth, and I don't understand what you're saying. 106.6 versus 99.7. If Dak is the second highest paid player in NFL history, you want to know who should be the number one? I already know Patrick Mahomes out there with that bad contract. It should be Lamar Jackson, because head-to-head, Dak Prescott doesn't hold up to what Lamar Jackson is.
You're right. I'm not disagreeing with you that Lamar Jackson is a better player. I'm not disagreeing that Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback. Here's the problem. Here's what you're ignoring, Sal. What you're ignoring is what no Ravens offensive personnel person can ignore. Lamar Jackson's ability to run has been an inhibiting factor to the Baltimore Ravens, and it's not his fault. You've been in locker rooms, Sal, where you see a phenomenal pass rusher. As a result, they don't make them play the run. They're such a good pass rusher that they're like, you know what? We'll get gashed. You just make sure you get off the ball. Yeah, they're going to give you 20 sacks a game, but they're also going to allow 20 sacks a season. But they're also going to allow 20 first downs a game on first down just because they're running the ball right at them.
Okay.
I used to hear, I think it was, who was that great pass rusher for the Falcons? Jonathan Abram?
I played with Abraham.
Dude was a dude.
Abraham, you talking about
Jonathan Abraham. Jonathan Abraham was a
football,
dude.
all that.
And I used to remember that his mantra was stop the run on the way to the quarterback.
Yeah, I know a few guys like that.
Try to be a linebacker behind a guy who's stopping the run on the way to the quarterback. Somebody stopping the run on the way to the quarterback is somebody that's not stopping the run. They're just on the way to the quarterback. With that being said, it's the same parallel I'll draw. So Lamar Jackson is such a captivating runner that you look at him and you're like, you know what? we don't have to worry about the passing game. We don't have to worry about developing you as a passer. We don't have to worry about building around you because you're still pretty good as a runner. You've already won MVP. It's the same thing with Giannis, which you just spent the last 20 minutes telling me bottom 4% all time in playoff history outside the paint. Worst free throw shooter all time in playoff history of somebody averaging more than 20 points. He's still a two-time MVP. Lamar Jackson's still a unanimous MVP. But because of how talented they are, you overlook some of the flaws that you're not allowed to overlook with players that are less physically gifted. That's why with Dak, I can't overlook his flaws, and I have to build a better team around him.
Man, this backwards way of thinking is going even farther back. What are you... Beep, beep, stop. Beep, beep.
But it makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
How?
Unless NFL evaluators and coaches are that dumb.
They have been, Greg Roman.
Some are bad and some are not the smartest, but that dumb? You so fine, young lady, that I don't know and don't care how smart you are. That's what they try to tell me. You trying to tell me that's what they thinking about Lamar. You can run so fast, I don't know how well you could throw. Oh, yes, you do, because I led the league in passing touchdowns.
Worst passing offense the last 2 years, and least passing yards, most rushing yards. They are overlooking it.
Look. He is handicapped. He is limited being there. Like I said, he's at that badass school where, look, they don't have the resources and they're not applying themselves with the resources that they have. Greg Roman, 8 years as an offensive coordinator, every single year, top 10 in rushing offense, bottom 10 in passing offense. Lamar Jackson is acting a donkey in a system that doesn't want him to act like he does. Woo! Patrick Mahomes, highest win percentage we're talking about. Who's second to him? Lamar Jackson. Goodness. We're talking about a dude right now who is the first in NFL history, 7,000 plus passing yards, 2,500 plus rushing yards in his first 3 NFL seasons. And you want to go with a guy who's limited because you can build around him. Build with the best. And then you will get the best results.
If I was up here with somebody who was less mentally adept to handle this concept, I would let it slide and we could go to break. But you are not that individual. Dak's last healthy season, he had the number 2 passing offense. He had the number 5 rushing offense. Because Dak isn't good enough to step on anybody else's toes. Dak does his job. He just sits there, he passes the ball. He tried to run the ball last year, he got hurt. His last healthy season, number 2 passing offense, number 5 rushing offense. Zeke, you do your job, I will do mine. Lamar Jackson is so good that he steps on other people's toes. Last passing offense, but the best rushing offense. Lamar Jackson is the best running back on his team and the best quarterback on his team. You went to a Nigerian wedding a month or 2 ago.
I did. Shout out to Dilly. Shout out to the
couple of them. And what you know about Nigerian weddings, because Nigerians, we cheap. And so we try to cut costs. I'm telling on us, okay? Talking to my green passports. We try to cut costs. So what we'll do is we'll hire the DJ to also be the MC. So now the DJ got to spin the tracks, but the DJ also got to be welcome in, and he's doing too much. He's stepping on the MC's toes while also trying to be the DJ. Yes, it's efficient. Yes, you can clap for the dude because he's doing 2 jobs, but at the end of the day, you'd rather have somebody who has finite job descriptions because it leads to more success collectively. Cowboys had the number 1 total offense in Dak's last healthy season. Lamar Jackson had the number 1 rushing offense in his last healthy season. Because of Dak's limitations, you're forced to make everybody else greater. Lamar's so good that you just lean on Lamar to his own demise.
So you're telling me a bad system is the reason why you want to take the worst player, when that's not the way you should want to build your team. I'm giving you the power, and you saying I'm going to do it messed up because Baltimore messing it up. That's not the way you should answer this. But I give you some of that Nigerian point because shout out to Darian, my family, and Dilly. Dilly's the Nigerian one. He did DJ his own wedding for a little bit, but he's a DJ, so I get why he went out there and guest starred. You stupid. You said all that. Don't y'all come at me. Stay at Stephen A. with all that Nigerian stuff. All right, here we go. Boy, I'm the wrong host. All right, here we go. In the last 2 seasons, what's Dak been doing in terms of wins? Not winning as much as losing.
That's true.
10 and 11. Okay, let's talk about Dak. 10th in passer rating in 2019. Who had a higher passer rating? That's his last healthy season. It's my boy Lamar Jackson, who was the 2019 MVP of the league. Oh, let me not understate what he really did. Unanimous. Only him and Tom Brady.
Let's talk life.
Let's talk life.
You want to get off this topic?
Well, get off this.
I'm not on a topic. I'm on a philosophy. I'm on a philosophy.
Oh, you going deeper
I'm on
than
a
me, huh?
philosophy.
You're a backpack rapper now because you can't sell no damn albums.
Get rid of my trash.
Yeah.
I'm on
You
a
can't sell
philosophy
albums.
What? You know, Sal, even let's go relationally. Football's relationships as well.
What we doing?
You've been in situations, I know, because you've told me off camp, off mic,
What?
that you could be so captivated by somebody's physical attributes that you overlook some of the necessities that Anne-Marie brought to the table, which has led to y'all's
You say my wife ain't fine.
You told me that in the past that you didn't factor in all the necessary factors.
You're making me think about them. Shut up. You think
I'm lying.
No, you're not lying. I waited till I was 38 to get married because I used to be enamored by certain qualities, not the entire picture.
That's my point.
But Lamar has it all. He fine, went to Harvard, like he got money, third generation wealth, billionaire. Like, I don't know. Lamar just got everything. If he gets away from Greg Roman or Greg Roman realizes what he has, it's going to be a real problem in this NFL. He led the league in passing touchdowns, and he's supposed to be a running back or a receiver that could throw. How do you lead the league in Acho, we play in the league. You can't lead the league in anything just by luck, just by, I'm not that good at it. I'm amazing at it while still being restricted. You want to do this over again? Because time is up. We can reset this block. I give you 1 minute right now. Go! Who would you rather build with?
No, all I'm going to say is this. Anne-Marie, that was no slight.
Oh, no, don't clean it up now.
Honestly, I don't know what you look like. I just worked with Marcellus Wiley. I trust his taste in individuals. I trust his taste in women. I trust that you're a beautiful woman inside and out. And I sincerely apologize if anything I said by any way inhibited your physical appearance because I trust that you're a beautiful woman.
The truth is simple. Those lies are complex. Under her post, it says, liked by Emmanuel Acho. You don't know what she looks like. Okay, coming up, Russell Wilson says his relationship with Pete Carroll is stronger than ever. You are stupid. We'll tell you if we're buying that. Next, hopefully I can go home. Between us.
Let's head to Seattle because the offseason was filled with drama surrounding Russell Wilson's relationship with the Seahawks. But as we get closer to training camp, it appears everything has turned positive. Wilson was asked about his relationship with Pete Carroll and raved about their current status. Y'all take a listen.
I would say it's stronger. I think me and Pete have gotten even closer. Okay. I mean, we've always been super close. So, Pete and I, we've always had a great bond. But I think, we got to have a great heart-to-heart. I think, me and Coach Carroll's relationship is stronger than ever.
Okay, we got to do our job, I guess.
Stronger than ever.
Stronger than ever. Huh?
So, are you buying that Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson's relationship is, quote, stronger than ever, close quote?
Nope, not buying it. But I do know why they think it is stronger than ever. Because I think respectfully and realistically, they got everything off their chest. So, you've had beef with someone before. I know you're a nice guy to the core, but still, sometimes things get off course and you got to reset them. So finally, there's this come to Jesus moment where both of you guys say, look, we just got to air this out. And I tell all my friends all the time that war can't be avoided, just postponed. That's why anytime I have an issue with you, trust me, brother, don't ever ask anybody. I'm coming to you because I know all I'm doing is just avoiding something. I'm postponing it. So in this, they postponed it, and then finally they had to go there. Now, this is why I know their relationship is not stronger than ever. You ready for this? This is a little deep. Pete Carroll is sitting there saying, you know what, Russ? We healed up. Look at me right now. You look at my hands, no blemishes, really. Not bad. My fingers jacked up from football, but no blemishes. But that's just the outer surface of my skin. The epidermis has healed. But underneath here, trauma has occurred. You know what's underneath here that looks bad? The scar tissue. Now, in this relationship, the surface looks great. Hey, we had to come to Jesus moment. We talked it out, all good. But there's still scar tissue that remains. And from Pete Carroll's perspective, he's going to always think about Russell Wilson in these terms. That dude went there, so I know he'll go there again. His agent gave me a list. They put me on the list. They put a list out of places I would go to if I'm not a Seattle Seahawk. Oh, since you went there, I know that you will always go there. And anything I learned about trust is this. You don't ever fully repair it. Think about it. Someone breaks your trust. Like me and you, we got our bond right here. And then you all of a sudden hear something sideways. And you're like, all right, Marcellus, what'd you really mean? We clarified, we go. But there's a layer
Even on the surface, we come out here, giggle, epidermis, we look fine. Underneath, there's some scar tissue. Like, Wally went there before. He gonna go there again. So Pete Carroll ain't that stupid. Russ, you think you're right, but I don't think you really are.
I'm rocking with you, big dog. Their relationship, one, isn't stronger than ever because they won a Super Bowl. After winning a Super Bowl, your relationship literally can't get stronger. Two, I think Russ has shown us he can be an emotional speaker. We all are, but he clearly more volatile than others. If I'm not mistaken, he's been on vacation with Sierra, his wife, for the last week in Italy. I'd tell because they've taken all these GQ photo shoots and post them for the world to see. Russ seems like he's in a good mood.
Yeah.
All I know is that was an audio call. I didn't see him visually because we don't know if he's back in town right now. So he probably just finished crushing some homemade Italian lasagna, whatever the case may be. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm happy. We're happy. Everyone's happy. But you can't take the Seahawks through what you took them through this offseason. And you can't have gone through what you made it appear that the Seahawks have put you through. You want more protection on the offensive line. You're watching the Super Bowl, sitting next to the commissioner talking about this should be us playing. You have a list of 4 teams you are willing to play for. All of those things cannot happen, and then you act as though your relationship is stronger than ever. Y'all have been through too much trauma in order for you to act like it. And so let me elaborate on your point that you made. I remember talking to a doctor once about whether or not I should, do surgery and repair a sports hernia, something along those lines. And they were like, you have to understand, anytime you go under the knife, you're adding trauma to your body. So, yes, you might still be able to go under the knife and fix something and repair something, but there's still trauma that is occurring. With that being said, to your point, even if Russ and Pete Carroll fixed whatever it is beef that they had, trauma still occurred this offseason. And regardless of the operation that may have fixed the issue, trauma was still there.
Man, you nailed it. And think about that trauma that you're talking about. That trauma's bad for business. This is what I don't understand. No matter how highly you're regarded as an athlete, you still are an employee. You may feel like a partner, and Russell Wilson certainly is as close to a partner for the Seattle Seahawks as anybody else in the NFL. However, work with your partner if you are truly a partner. It's bad for business. It's bad for the fan base to see that you guys are out there feuding. And there's no fun in watching the family feud. So I think there was some damage control in this situation by Russ. He's feeling good. He's carb loading, getting some of that good lasagna. But then also on the same damn Patrick show that months ago, he went and blasted the offensive line, inadvertently, whatever he did, is now the same show that he goes on to say we're stronger than ever. You want to go back to the same place to kind of clean up that mess that you spilled all of that milk on before. Interesting, Russell Wilson. Here's my other layer to this. I've been on teams before. I've been on teams that had beefs and feuds, et cetera, public ones as well. They don't know, the media doesn't know how much we're going up to them one-on-one. Say, hey, bruh, clean this up, bruh. What are you doing? Teammates text them. Teammates taking them out. Man, what are you doing, Russ? Where you going? If you're not going anywhere, shut up and stay and make it a happy home. Stuff like that happens beneath the surface, and I don't think we're really privy to seeing that.
The other thing I have to consider is, to your point, Russ went on a show and said, here were the issues. Well, over the course of the offseason, he talked about the issues. Offensive line play, wanted more of a say, et cetera. They didn't really address any of the issues. So if you had a problem and nobody addressed your problem, then you still have a problem. Now, you might not be as vocal as the problem because you're in a better mood, but to Sel's point, war cannot be avoided, only postponed. It only appears that Russell Wilson is now postponing the war again. Your emotional state can dictate whether or not you feel like voicing the problem, but the problem still exists. It's just currently submerged. So as I look at it, the relationship may be verbally stronger than ever, but realistically, it's still as fractured as it was when he verbalized the problems because they haven't done anything to remedy the fracture.
Woo! This is our last point. We got to go. God, that was so deep. I love working with you. Man, you know what my therapist always tells me? What's the most haunting emotion? Shame. Because shame is a reminder that you messed up. And I think Russell has a little shame in his game right now, so therefore he wants to clean up what he messed up. But the one thing about shame, because look, on my phone, I have nothing but reminders. Like the alarm part, I hit alarm, hey, call Acho. Alarm, make sure Anna Marie knows Acho thinks she's pretty. All those things, right? So I have those. And then every time they pop up, you got an option. Like you said, you can hit stop or you can hit snooze. I think Russell Wilson hit snooze. We'll see how this plays out going forward. Coming up, Patrick Mahomes is walking back a comment about Justin Herbert. He must have heard me say something yesterday. Yeah, boy. We'll tell you if we like him clarifying his dig. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Talk about my Chargers, homie. Patrick Mahomes, what up, Holmes? Threw some shade recently during a golf tournament when a heckler yelled out, quote, "Watch out for Justin Herbert next year." Mahomes responded, quote, "I'll see it when I believe it." Comment got some heat, and Mahomes clarified saying, quote, "Yeah, I think it got taken out of context. I was talking some trash to all those Raiders and Broncos and Chargers fans out there. I have a ton of respect for him as a player. So, Acho, you like Mahomes clarifying his dig at my guy, Justin Herbert?"
I don't think I do. I understand why he had to. Football is very political, especially when you're the star quarterback, especially when you are one of the faces of the league. You don't want to have beef with nobody. We know that. Tom Brady, he used to have a whole lot of beef, but like later in Tom's career, he ain't really got beef with nobody. He only trash talks his own team. But I don't like it, Sel, because I'm kind of the dude that's like, say it with your chest. You said it, mean it.
Yes.
You're 4-1 against the Chargers. You do dominate the Chargers. So you might as well be like, I will believe it when I see it, or correct yourself and say, I'll see it when I believe it when I see it, whatever the phrase actually is.
Not the way he said it.
You tell me. I
I'm
don't
gonna
really
tell
know
you
how to feel on this one.
Look, I don't think he should clarify. It's just that simple. What are you clarifying? Because think about what a clarification really is. You say it. He actually said it with his chest. Now, he said it with his chest in jest because he's going back and forth with hecklers. You know how it is when we go out somewhere and you're an Eagles player and then you go somewhere and there's Cowboys fans. And then you just talk. It's pep rally atmosphere almost, right? So you said it with your chest, but then it got taken somewhere else. And then I think the insecurity, now this is where I'm reaching, but I'm going to reach, the fact that Justin Herbert in his first start ever took you to overtime, and then you realize that 6'6", 240 dude ain't nothing to play with. So you want to send out a little test shot. Hey, little youngster, realize how far you got to climb to see the top dog. And then everybody else kind of caught that and was like, whoa. So this is what really happened right here. This is the simple way to say it. It sounds like to me he's admitting either one, he didn't say it right, because he don't want people to know that I'm thinking about Justin Herbert. That's why he couldn't even get the statement right. Or we're stupid. So he wants to clarify for us because we got it wrong. If we're so dumb, why are you going to clarify it again? We're still dumb. You ain't going to clear it up enough times where the dumb people going to get it right. Unless you didn't get it right. One, you messed the statement up. And two, because Justin Herbert's on your heels, brother. He shook, brother. Scared to look. He's scared to what? He shook. Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. You know that? You know that song? No?
Yes, you're reaching. But does this remind you kind of if you were a fly on the wall when Kevin Durant said what he allegedly said about Giannis at that Christmas party? This is giving me those same vibes with Jay Will. Like, I mean, Giannis can't never see me. Then Kevin Durant comes out there and says, I never said that. This sounds very reminiscent of like an athlete talks trash about another athlete that is either on his level or close to being on his level or maybe one day will be on his level and doesn't know what to do now that the world has found out. So they just have a ton of respect for him as a player. I didn't mean it. I'm getting those vibes.
You getting those vibes? That one, the only difference in that one is I think KD really said that, but he was like, Jay, you shouldn't have said that. We heard you, Mahomes. You butchered this one. You shook. Coming up, Game 4 of the NBA Finals is tonight. We're picking a winner. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Mob Deep edition, baby.
Dun, dun.
The Suns are just 2 wins away from their first title in franchise history, but the Bucks are coming off a blowout win in Game 3. The pivotal Game 4 is tonight in Milwaukee. So, Sel, who takes Game 4 tonight, the Suns or the Bucks?
I'm going with the Phoenix Suns. You know that the Phoenix Suns haven't lost back-to-back games since they played your Lakers in round 1. So I don't think it's going to happen again right here. The Suns, a good road team, 6-3 on the road this postseason. So the stats support what I see, which is a confident bunch that will rebound in Game 4.
The irony of the lights being too bright for a team called the Suns. I think the Bucks are going to take it, Sel. Chris Paul already told you his stats are deteriorating game after after game. 32 points game 1, 23 game 2, 19 game 3. Devin Booker 1 for 7 from 3 last game, 1 for 8 from 3 game 1. The lights might be too bright for you boys.
My first year, I had 20 sacks, then 15, then 10. That's deterioration?
You didn't have 20 sacks.
I know, but I can say anything on TV. That's it for us. Fox Bet Live is next. You just said anything. Deterioration. It's not deterioration.